Well, I have a little story to tell you, a little strange story, and I can't quite explain it. It's all to do with the mobile phone I bought about 2 years ago. What you say? You haven't got a? You said you haven't got one, Dave. Well, what we did, we bought a mobile phone because of Lidl. We haven't got much money, ladies and gentlemen, and we do have to shop at Lidl, and I would anyway because it's got some very nice foods, and they're a lot cheaper. Especially the prices of Morrison's just lately. Oh, don't get me started. So anyway, yeah. So Lidl, you have to have an app on a phone, and it can't work any other way. So what I did, I bought a cheap phone, put it on, set up the app, but via my email address. It was either my email address or my telephone number for the phone. And then I actually then got my Morrison's card, and I put the code that is on the screen. I photographed it, and then put it onto there, and it works. So that's I never have to have the thing. So all I have to do is every couple of weeks find the phone, turn it on, and see how far we got to the 250 quid to get the 10% off. And then we'd lost it for a couple of days, and I found it in the car, and I came into the hallway, and I shouted up the stairs, I found it. It was in the car, and I remember looking at it, and that's the last time I have any conscious memory of that phone whatsoever. It has disappeared off the face of the earth. And we thought, not a problem. This gets a bit strange. Well, I think it's a bit strange. He said, not a problem. I've got this on my thing. I don't know why I've got it on there. I can't move my hands. So that's better. I don't know why I actually. I've got what's done about now. I don't know why. I haven't got a clue. I'm going to have to stop this now to see what I said. Right, not a problem. It's not a problem, is that all I do is I'll get hold of Ben and say, Ben, can you just load the app up on my phone? I can check on that. And then I can use the card. I don't even need to have that other phone. I could just use somebody else's phone. So he put the app page up, and then he put in my email address, and it said not recognised. And then he put in my telephone number, and it says not recognised. So it doesn't recognise it. It does not recognise the bloody the thing. It doesn't exist. But I've been using it all the time. So just gone. Now I am slightly I can't explain that. I can't explain why it doesn't recognise the thing that I've been using for years. It should certainly, because I haven't got any other email addresses. I haven't got another mobile number. So it has to, why, I don't know. There's only one way, because it then takes me back to a story that happened to me quite a few years ago. And it was when one morning I was trying to get onto the internet, and the internet wouldn't work. And I thought, oh dear me. And I went and checked the phone, and the phone was okay, but the internet was dead. So it was just flashing lights, and so dear me, I'm gonna have to be back. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry about that. Needed downstairs. So yes, it wasn't working. So the internet. So I thought, I haven't got time now. Tonight when I get in, I'll ring up the provider if it's still not working. So I rang up. It didn't work when I got in. I rang up the provider, and they started to go through, turn off the machine for 10 seconds, turn back on again, doing all the systems and trying to get it to work. And they said, can you just check the wires, see if they's all right? And I got the wire, and as I was doing, I went. And Tina and Jake was actually in the room with me when I did it. I went, what the? I'm going to have to ring you back in a minute. I'll ring you back. And I put the phone out, and Tina and Jake were looking at it as well. I went, what the bloody hell? And the wire had been cut. I could see it was a clean cut. It hadn't been from a mouse or anything like that. That's the only thing I can think of. We haven't got mice. But I thought it's... Anyway, we worked it out that Tina had heard me the night before downstairs in the middle of the night going around in the kitchen, and she didn't know what I was doing then. I came back to bed again. And the only explanation is that I sleepwalked and actually came downstairs, got a pair of scissors, and cut the actual wire on the internet. I think I cut the. Oh dear. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Yes, hi again. So the only thing that it could possibly be is that I actually sleepwalked, went downstairs, and because I remember now, I actually cut the telephone wires as well. What's frightening is that both of those there's 4 wires. 2 of them are the electricity, and 2 of them are just the telephone lines. So I was sleepwalking, but I knew which wires to cut. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have been electrocuted because it would have tripped the switches, but it would have sent the house into darkness. Well, it was anyway, because it was middle of the night. But it just shows you, and at the time, it was a time when we was in a lot of trouble, actually, financially. And I was getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of things, and I was really mithering about people getting in touch with me, and I don't like it anyway. This is why I don't have a mobile phone. Do you know when you haven't got your mobile phone and you feel worried because you haven't got your mobile phone and you think, oh, nobody can get in touch with me? I love that feeling. I love knowing that there's only me. There's nobody else. I can't be in touch. I'm on my own. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful feeling. I can't explain to you how perfect it is. And having a mobile phone, sometimes I've got to take it out of us, and we used to try to remember to take it if we were going up on the motorway and so forth. About half the time we would forget to bring it, but we would actually, and if I then would have it in my pocket, very rarely would I have it in my pocket, but if I did, I could feel it almost like an entity, just sort of pulsing in my pocket, just saying, I can see you. I know that's silly, but so I love not having a mobile phone, and even though we sort of had one for this this time, but so I thought, I think I was sleepwalking and actually taking out the connection by cutting the wires, and I don't know why, because we're not in trouble with that now, but I am spending a lot of money on Christmas at the moment. We've got some fantastic ideas. This is what this is all about, and these pearls and things. But I've got a real good idea for Christmas, but it's costing us quite a lot of money, and if it doesn't work, we're not going to be in trouble, but we're certainly going to be scraping for money if it doesn't work. But it's you've got to. What's my dad used to say? Something about a scatter mackerel to catch a mackerel. I don't know. I don't know. It's a fishing term anyway. And but and I have been mithering about it, and I just don't know if I've thrown the phone away and disconnected. Because this only explanation I can come up with that logically makes sense is that somehow I have taken off the app off that phone. So then that's why it's not recognised. And somehow, so have I sleepwalked? I don't even know how I put it on, so that can't be true. Anyway, that's the story of me, the time I cut the wires in my sleep. And why I don't like mobile phones. So anyway, we've got to try to sort it out, but we've lost the 10% because it's up today. We've got to buy today, and we've lost it. So, but even that's going to probably save us money, because sometimes we buy stuff we don't really need because we're getting 10% on it. So we probably won't lose out too much on that. So there we go. Yeah, so a little story there. So it's been a bit long-winded, and me forgetting and then having me call downstairs. But there's a story of my mobile phones. So anyway, I am waffling now. Right, ladies and gentlemen, there's an old Chinese proverb that says, when you actually think you've worked out what the problem is, you'll find out that you've got it completely wrong. I've made that one up. We've worked it out. We've worked out what was wrong with the actual, why we couldn't get it work. Because all the years ago, we must have put it on. We put it onto Emma's telephone number because she set it up for us on her number. So there we go. That's why it didn't work. It was her telephone number and her email address. Oh God! Well, I just checked. So she's put it onto her phone, so we can actually now just use her phone. So I'm using her phone tonight, because we're going to go to Lidl, and because we've just found out that 10% is up in 4 days' time. But unfortunately, I don't actually. We're going away, so we've got to use it now. So we're going to go shopping. But anyway, there we go. Problem solved. I didn't throw it away and take the SIM number off, the account off. What I couldn't have done, but I've been told anyway. Heaven help me. Anyway, so now I'll say properly, I am waffling now, and it's time to say goodbye.